First contact and cultural shock. The massive alien vessel emerged from the swirling vortex of a wormhole, its sleek crystalline hull gleaming in the light of Earth's sun. On the bridge of the International Space Station, Commander Sarah Chen gripped the edge of the console, her knuckles white as she stared at the holographic display. "My God," she whispered, her voice barely audible of the frantic chatter of the crew. "It's really happening." For decades, humanity had wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now, on this historic day, they had their answer. As the alien ship drew closer, a transmission crackled through the station's communications system. The language was unlike anything they had ever heard before, a series of musical tones and clicks that seemed to defy translation. Dr. Aidan Foster, the station's xenolinguist, feverishly worked at his console, his brow furrowed in concentration. "I'm running it through every known linguistic algorithm," he reported, "but it's going to take time to decipher." Commander Chen nodded, her mind racing. They needed to respond, to show the aliens they were willing to communicate. But how? An idea struck her. "Music," she said suddenly. "We'll respond with music." She quickly instructed the communications officer to transmit a selection of Earth's greatest musical compositions, everything from classical symphonies to indigenous tribal rhythms. It was a universal language, one that transcended words and cultures. Perhaps it could bridge the gap between species as well. As the last notes of Beethoven's Ode to Joy faded away, there was a moment of tense silence. Then, to the crew's amazement, the alien ship began to emit a haunting melody of its own. It was beautiful and alien, yet somehow familiar. "They're responding," Dr. Foster said, his voice filled with wonder. "They understand." Over the next few hours, the two species engaged in a musical dialogue, exchanging melodies and rhythms. Slowly but surely, patterns began to emerge, and Dr. Foster's translation algorithms started to make sense of the alien language. I think I've got it," he announced, his fingers flying over the keyboard. "They're calling themselves the Harmonians. They've traveled across the galaxy seeking new music." Commander Chen blinked in surprise. "New music? That's why they came all this way." Dr. Foster nodded, his eyes never leaving the screen. "According to this, their species has a deep spiritual and cultural connection to music, but they've exhausted all possible combinations in their own musical scale. They've been searching the cosmos for new sounds, new harmonies." As the crew digested this information, a new transmission came through. This time, thanks to Dr. Foster's work, they could understand the words. "Greetings, people of Earth. We come in peace, seeking to expand our musical knowledge. We humbly request permission to land and engage in cultural exchange." Commander Chen took a deep breath, acutely aware that her next words would go down in history. "On behalf of the people of Earth," she said, her voice steady, "we welcome you. Our world is full of music, and we would be honored to share it with you." The response was immediate and enthusiastic. The Harmonian ship began its descent towards Earth, aiming for a predetermined landing site in a remote area of the Australian outback. As news of the alien arrival spread across the globe, reactions were mixed. Many were excited about the prospect of peaceful first contact, while others feared the unknown. Governments scrambled to form diplomatic teams, and the world's greatest musicians prepared to greet the alien visitors. When the Harmonian ship finally touched down, a hush fell over the gathered crowd. A hatch opened, and out stepped beings unlike anything humans had ever seen. They were tall and slender, with iridescent skin that seemed to shimmer with every movement. Their large, almond-shaped eyes were a swirling kaleidoscope of colors, and instead of hair, they had what appeared to be fine, silvery filaments that moved of their own accord. The leader of the Harmonians stepped forward, raising a hand in greeting. "I am Lyra," she said, her voice a melodious trill that seemed to resonate in the air. "On behalf of my people, I thank you for your warm welcome." As the human delegation approached, led by the Secretary-General of the United Nations, Lyra and her companions began to sway gently, emitting a soft, humming sound. It took a moment for the humans to realize that this was their form of applause. Over the next few days, as diplomats from both species worked to establish formal relations, musicians from around the world flocked to the landing site. The Harmonians were enthralled by the diversity of Earth's music, from the thunderous beats of African drums to the delicate notes of a Chinese guzheng. But it wasn't just the music itself that fascinated them. The Harmonians were amazed by the physical instruments humans used to create their melodies. Having evolved beyond the need for external tools, they created music solely through their bodies' natural abilities. Fascinating, Lyra exclaimed, running her fingers over the strings of a violin. You use these objects to produce sound. The violinist nodded, demonstrating how the bow was drawn across the strings. Lyra's eyes widened in wonder, and she asked if she could try. What happened next left everyone in awe. As Lyra drew the bow across the strings, the violin produced sounds it had never made before. Notes that shouldn't have been possible soared through the air, creating harmonies that brought tears to the eyes of everyone present. It quickly became apparent that the Harmonians' unique physiology allowed them to manipulate sound waves in ways humans couldn't even comprehend. When they played human instruments, they could coax out tones and melodies that defied the laws of physics as humans understood them. This discovery led to an unprecedented burst of creativity in the music world. Human musicians collaborated with Harmonian artists, pushing the boundaries of what was possible in music. New genres emerged, blending human rhythm and melody with alien harmonies. But as exciting as these developments were, they also brought challenges. Some human musicians felt threatened by the Harmonians' superior abilities. There were concerns that human music would become obsolete, replaced by alien compositions that no human could hope to replicate. These tensions came to a head during a joint human-Harmonian concert at the Sydney Opera House. As a mixed ensemble performed a groundbreaking new piece, a group of protesters burst into the concert hall. "Earth for humans," they chanted, waving signs denouncing the alien presence. "Protect our culture." The music screeched to a halt as security guards rushed to contain the situation. In the chaos, one of the protesters managed to reach the stage, brandishing a can of spray paint. Before anyone could stop him, he had defaced one of the Harmonians' prized instruments, a crystalline structure that resembled a harp. The Harmonian musician, a young female named Aria, let out a cry of distress. The damaged instrument wasn't just a tool for making music, it was a part of her, grown from her own body over years of careful cultivation. As the protester was dragged away, Commander Chen, who was attending the concert as an honored guest, rushed to Aria's side. "I'm so sorry," she said, her voice choked with emotion. "Please don't judge all of humanity by the actions of a few." Aria turned to her, her kaleidoscope eyes swirling with a mix of sadness and understanding. "We do not," she said softly. "We know that fear often stems from misunderstanding. Perhaps we have not done enough to bridge the gap between our cultures." This incident marked a turning point in human-Harmonian relations. Both species realized that true harmony couldn't be achieved through music alone. They needed to find a way to blend their cultures more fully, to create a symphony of cooperation that encompassed all aspects of life. As the first part of this interstellar cultural exchange drew to a close, both humans and Harmonians found themselves facing a new movement. The initial excitement of first contact had faded, replaced by the complex reality of two very different species learning to coexist. But amidst the challenges, there was hope. The music that had brought them together continued to evolve, creating new forms of expression that neither species could have achieved alone. And in that music, both humans and Harmonians found a common language, one of creativity, emotion, and the universal desire to connect. As Commander Chen looked out over the Sydney harbour, watching the Harmonian ship gleam in the fading sunlight, she couldn't help but feel optimistic about the future. The road ahead might be difficult, but with patience, understanding, and a willingness to listen to each other's songs, she believed that humans and Harmonians could create something beautiful together. Little did she know that the greatest challenges and the greatest triumphs still lay ahead. The Symphony of Two Worlds had only just begun its first movement, and the music of the spheres was about to take on a whole new meaning. The human solution. As the sun rose over Sydney Harbour, casting a golden glow on the Harmonian ship, Commander Sarah Chen sipped her coffee and pondered the challenges ahead. The incident at the Opera House had shaken both humans and Harmonians, highlighting the delicate nature of their newfound relationship. "Commander," a voice crackled through her comm device. It was Dr. Foster, sounding unusually excited. "You need to see this." Now, intrigued, Chen made her way to the makeshift laboratory that had been set up near the Harmonian landing site. As she entered, she was greeted by a cacophony of sounds, a mix of human voices and alien tones that seemed to vibrate the very air. Dr. Foster stood in the center of the room, surrounded by holographic displays. His eyes were wide with wonder. "We've made a breakthrough," he announced. Chen raised an eyebrow. "What kind of breakthrough?" Foster gestured to a nearby Harmonian, a young male named Cadence. "Show her," he urged. Cadence nodded, then opened his mouth. What emerged was unlike anything Chen had ever heard before. It was a perfect rendition of a human voice, specifically Dr. Foster's voice. "How is this possible?" Chen gasped. Foster's grin widened. "Their vocal structures are incredibly adaptable. With some practice, they can mimic any sound, including human speech. But that's not all." He turned to another display. "We've been analyzing their biology, and we've discovered something extraordinary." The hologram showed a detailed scan of a Harmonian's inner ear. "Their auditory system is far more advanced than ours," Foster explained. "They can perceive sounds across a much wider range of frequencies, including some that are completely inaudible to humans." Chen's mind raced with the implications. "So they can hear things we can't?" Foster nodded. "Exactly. And that's where it gets really interesting." He pulled up another display, this one showing a series of complex waveforms. "We've detected patterns in these ultra-high frequencies, patterns that suggest..." "Language," Chen breathed, realization dawning. "Precisely," Foster confirmed. "We believe the Harmonians have been communicating on these frequencies all along. In addition to their audible speech, it's a whole layer of communication we've been missing." As Chen absorbed this information, a commotion outside caught her attention. She stepped to the window, her eyes widening at the sight. A crowd had gathered, humans and Harmonians alike, all focused on a small stage that had been set up in the park. On that stage stood Lyra, the Harmonian leader, alongside a human, world-renowned beatboxer, Axel, the voice Rodriguez. As Chen watched, Axel began to perform, his mouth and throat producing an incredible array of percussive sounds. Lyra listened intently, her eyes closed in concentration. Then, to the amazement of the crowd, she began to mimic Axel's performance. But she took it further, layering in harmonies and tones that shouldn't have been possible from a single vocal source. The crowd erupted in cheers and applause, both human and Harmonian. It was a moment of pure joy, a celebration of what their two species could achieve together. As the performance continued, Chen turned back to Foster. "This changes everything," she said. "If we can tap into their full range of communication." Foster nodded, his eyes gleaming with excitement. "We could unlock secrets of the universe we never even knew existed." Over the next few weeks, human and Harmonian scientists worked tirelessly to develop new technologies that could bridge the gap between their species' auditory capabilities. Engineers created advanced hearing aids that allowed humans to perceive the ultra-high frequencies used by the Harmonians. In turn, the Harmonians helped design new instruments that could produce these frequencies, opening up entirely new realms of musical expression. But it wasn't just about music anymore. As humans gained the ability to perceive and interpret these higher frequencies, they discovered that the world around them was alive with previously unheard sounds. The rustle of leaves in the wind, the flow of water underground, even the movement of tectonic plates, all produced subtle vibrations that the Harmonians could naturally perceive. This newfound awareness led to breakthroughs in various fields. Geologists use the technology to predict earthquakes with unprecedented accuracy. Botanists discovered that plants communicated through high-frequency vibrations in their cell walls. Even medical professionals found applications, using the Harmonian-inspired tech to detect minute changes in patients' bodies that signaled the onset of diseases long before traditional methods could. As exciting as these developments were, they also brought new challenges. Some people feared that the technology could be used for invasive surveillance or mind control. Others worried about the long-term effects of exposing human brains to these high-frequency sounds. Chen found herself at the center of these debates, working tirelessly to balance the potential benefits with the valid concerns. She organized town halls, bringing together humans and Harmonians to discuss the implications of their growing collaboration. During one such meeting, a heated argument broke out between a group of human activists and a contingent of Harmonian scientists. The humans accused the aliens of trying to fundamentally alter human biology, while the Harmonians insisted they were only trying to share their knowledge for the benefit of both species. As tensions rose, Chen stepped in. "Everyone, please," she called out, her voice cutting through the din. "Let's take a moment to listen, really listen, to each other." She nodded to Aria, the young Harmonian whose instrument had been damaged at the Sydney Opera House. Aria stepped forward, her eyes swirling with determination. She began to sing, her voice weaving a complex tapestry of sound that seemed to fill the entire room. As the humans in the audience activated their new hearing devices, their eyes widened in wonder. They could hear not just Aria's audible voice, but layers upon layers of harmonic overtones that painted vivid, emotional landscapes in their minds. The song spoke of the vastness of space, the joy of discovery, and the deep longing for connection that had driven the Harmonians across the galaxy. It was a story told not just in words or notes, but in pure, raw emotion that transcended language. When Aria finished, there wasn't a dry eye in the house, human or Harmonian. The anger and fear that had filled the room moments before had been replaced by a sense of awe and shared purpose. An elderly human man stood up, his voice quavering with emotion. I had no idea," he said. "Is this how you see, hear, the world all the time?" Aria nodded, a gentle smile on her face. "It is, and now you can share it with us." This moment marked a turning point in human-Harmonian relations. The technology that had initially been viewed with suspicion began to be embraced more widely. People realized that it wasn't about changing what it meant to be human, but about expanding the boundaries of human perception and understanding. As the collaboration deepened, new forms of art and expression emerged. Concerts now featured frequencies across the entire spectrum, creating multi-dimensional sound experiences that engaged all the senses. Painters and sculptors worked with Harmonian artists to create works that could be heard as well as seen, adding a new layer of depth to visual art. But perhaps the most profound change came in the realm of interpersonal communication. As humans became more adept at perceiving and interpreting the subtle frequency changes in voices and bodies, they found themselves developing a deeper empathy and understanding for one another. Misunderstandings became less common as people learned to hear the unspoken emotions behind words. Conflicts were resolved more easily as negotiators could literally tune into the hidden anxieties and desires of all parties involved. One day, as Chen watched a group of human and Harmonian children playing together in the park, their laughter creating a symphony of audible and inaudible frequencies, she felt a profound sense of hope for the future. A familiar voice behind her said, "Beautiful, isn't it?" Chen turned to see Lyra, the Harmonian leader, her eyes swirling with contentment. "It is," Chen agreed. "I never imagined first contact would lead to this." Lyra nodded, her filaments swaying gently in the breeze. "Nor did we. We came seeking new music, but we found so much more. We found kindred spirits." As they stood there, watching the children play, Chen realized that humanity had gained far more than just advanced technology or new scientific knowledge from the Harmonians. They had gained a new way of experiencing the world, a deeper appreciation for the interconnectedness of all things. The symphony of two worlds was reaching a crescendo, its music resonating across the stars. But as Chen was about to learn, this was just the prelude to an even greater adventure, one that would challenge both humans and Harmonians in ways they could never have imagined. Little did they know that far away, in the depths of space, another ship was approaching, one that would put their newfound harmony to the ultimate test. Interspecies collaboration. As the sun set on another day of incredible discoveries, Commander Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed Harmony Tower. The gleaming structure, a testament to human Harmonian cooperation, stretched towards the stars, a literal bridge between Earth and the cosmos. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. Chen's comm device lit up with urgent messages. "Commander," Dr. Foster's voice crackled through, tension evident in his tone. "We've detected an anomaly in the outer solar system. You need to see this." Chen rushed to the control room, her heart pounding. The main screen displayed a swirling vortex of energy, growing larger by the second. "What am I looking at, Doctor?" she demanded. "It appears to be a wormhole," Foster explained, his fingers flying over the holographic controls. "And something's coming through." As they watched, a massive ship emerged from the vortex. Its design was unlike anything they had ever seen, neither human nor Harmonian. It bristled with what appeared to be weapons, its hull pulsing with an ominous red glow. "Are they transmitting?" Chen asked, her mind racing through potential first contact scenarios. Before Foster could respond, the alien ship fired a barrage of energy pulses. They weren't aimed at Earth, but at the Harmonian vessel still in orbit. "They're under attack," Chen exclaimed. "Contact the Harmonians. We need to coordinate a response." As the human defense systems sprang to life, Lara's face appeared on the main screen. "We recognize that ship," she said, her usual melodious voice tight with fear. "They are the Discordants, a warlike race that seeks to destroy all music in the galaxy. They've been pursuing us for eons." Chen's blood ran cold. A race that wanted to destroy music. It was antithetical to everything the Harmonians stood for, everything that had brought their two species together. "We stand with you," Chen declared without hesitation. "Earth's defenses are at your disposal." What followed was a battle unlike any in Earth's history. Human fighter pilots, their crafts enhanced with Harmonian technology, engaged the discordant ship alongside Harmonian vessels. The sky lit up with explosions and energy beams, a deadly light show visible from the ground. But the Discordants were powerful. Their weapons seemed capable of disrupting the very fabric of space-time, creating localized areas where Earth's laws of physics no longer applied. Human and Harmonian ships alike found themselves suddenly without power, drifting helplessly in the void. "We need a new strategy," Shen muttered, watching another squadron of fighters blink out of existence. Then an idea struck her. "Dr. Foster, the frequency technology, could we weaponize it?" Foster's eyes widened as he caught on. "Theoretically, yes. If we could generate a powerful enough pulse at the right frequency, we could disrupt their systems," Chen finished. "Do it." As Foster and his team worked feverishly to modify their communications array, Chen coordinated with Lyra to keep the discordant ship occupied. The Harmonians used their natural abilities to create sound barriers in space, momentarily confusing the enemy's sensors. Finally, Foster gave the signal. "It's ready but untested. We have no idea what effect this might have." Chen took a deep breath. "We're out of options. Fire." A massive pulse of energy erupted from the Harmony Tower, rippling through space at speeds that defied conventional physics. When it reached the discordant ship, the effect was immediate and dramatic. The ship's hull began to vibrate, softening and warping as if it were made of putty. Strange, discordant notes emanated from it, a cacophony that set teeth on edge. Then, to everyone's amazement, the ship began to change shape. As they watched, dumbfounded, the discordant vessel transformed. Its weapons morphed into what looked like musical instruments. The harsh red glow faded, replaced by a softer, more harmonious light. "I don't believe it," Foster whispered. "We've retuned them." The battle came to an abrupt halt as the transformed, discordant ship hung motionless in space. After a tense moment, a transmission came through. The beings that appeared on screen were as changed as their ship, their formerly harsh features now softer, more musical. "We hear the music," the discordant leader said, wonder in their voice. "For the first time, we truly hear it. The song of the universe. It's beautiful." As it turned out, the discordants hadn't been evil. They had been tone-deaf on a cosmic scale, incapable of hearing the music that the Harmonians perceived in all things. The pulse from Earth had rewritten their very biology, allowing them to experience sound as never before. In the days that followed, Earth became a hub of interstellar diplomacy. The Harmonians and the reformed discordants began a cultural exchange, their once warring species now united in their love of music. Humans found themselves in the unique position of mediators, their adaptability and creativity helping to bridge the gap between the two alien races. New forms of music emerged, blending the Harmonians' ethereal tones with the discordants' newly discovered sense of rhythm, all underpinned by human melodies. Concerts became interstellar events, broadcast across light years to audiences on distant worlds. But it wasn't just music that flourished. The technology that had retuned the discordants opened up new avenues of scientific exploration. Researchers found they could use precisely calibrated frequency pulses to alter the fundamental properties of matter. Seemingly impossible materials were created, metals lighter than air, fabrics that could change color and texture on command, even substances that could phase between solid and liquid states at will. The medical applications were equally revolutionary. Diseases once thought incurable were eliminated with targeted frequency treatments. Aging itself seemed to slow as human bodies were gently retuned to repair cellular damage. As humanity's influence spread throughout the galaxy, they found themselves welcomed on countless worlds. Their unique ability to adapt and innovate, combined with their newfound mastery of frequency manipulation, made them invaluable allies to species across the cosmos. One day, as Chen watched a group of human, Harmonian, and discordant children playing together in zero gravity, creating three-dimensional sound sculptures with their voices and instruments, she felt a profound sense of pride. Lyra floated up beside her, her filaments swaying gently in the recycled air of the space station. "When we first arrived on Earth," she said, "we thought we were coming to teach. But in truth, we have learned so much from you." Chen smiled. "We've all learned from each other. That's the beauty of it." As they looked out at the star-studded expanse of space, Chen realized that this was just the beginning. Humanity had found its place in the cosmic orchestra, their adaptability and creativity allowing them to play in harmony with the music of the spheres. The universe, it seemed, was full of wonders waiting to be discovered, and with their new allies by their side, humans were ready to explore every corner of it, adding their unique voice to the grand symphony of existence. Little did they know, however, that their greatest challenge and their greatest triumph still lay ahead. For in the vast expanse of the cosmos, ancient forces were stirring, forces that would put their newfound harmony to the ultimate test. The stage was set for a cosmic opera unlike any other, and humanity was about to play the lead role. Threats from within and without. As Earth's influence spread across the galaxy, a new era of prosperity and innovation dawned. The Harmony Collective, as the alliance between humans, Harmonians, and reformed discordants came to be known, had ushered in an unprecedented age of peace and scientific advancement. Commander Sarah Chen, now Admiral Chen, found herself at the helm of the Starship Symphony, Earth's most advanced vessel. As they cruised through the iridescent waves of the Andromeda Nebula, Chen couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. "Admiral," her first officer, Lucas Rees, called out, "We're receiving a priority transmission from Earth. It's encrypted. Chen frowned. Encrypted messages were rare these days, usually reserved for the direst of circumstances. Put it through to my ready room. As the holographic display flickered to life, Chen's blood ran cold. The face that appeared was that of Dr. Elara Vance, Earth's leading xenobiologist and a close friend. But Elara's usually calm demeanor was replaced by barely contained panic. "Sarah," Elara's voice quavered, "we've made a terrible mistake. The frequency technology, it's not what we thought." Chen leaned forward, her heart racing. "What do you mean? Elara, what's happening?" "The retuning process," Elara continued, her eyes darting nervously off-screen. "It's not permanent. The discordance, they're reverting, and they're angry." Before Chen could respond, the transmission cut off abruptly. She rushed back to the bridge, her mind reeling. "Set a course for Earth, maximum speed," she ordered. As the symphony hurtled through space, Chen briefed her crew on the situation. The mood on the bridge was tense, the usual harmony of human and alien voices replaced by worried murmurs. As they stood there, a new transmission came through. A distant star system, previously unknown, had made contact. They had heard the music, the great galactic symphony that had ended the war, and they wanted to join in. Chen smiled. The universe, it seemed, was full of new movements waiting to be discovered, and humanity, with its unique gift for adaptation and harmony, was ready to play its part in the cosmic orchestra. As the Starship Symphony prepared for its next journey, Chen knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them the same way they had overcome every obstacle so far, together, in harmony, with a song in their hearts and the music of the spheres as their guide. The cosmic opera continued, its melody echoing across the stars, a testament to the power of music, understanding, and the indomitable human spirit. A new era of cooperation. The Great Galactic Symphony that had ended the war with the discordance became known as the harmony heard round the universe. Its echoes continued to resonate across space and time, drawing more species into the expanding alliance of music and mutual understanding. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Starship Symphony, her eyes fixed on the swirling, prismatic nebula ahead. This uncharted region of space pulsed with strange energies, defying conventional sensors. But to the ears of the harmonians aboard, it sang with a haunting melody unlike anything they've encountered before. "Admiral," called out Science Officer Dr. Zara, her voice tinged with excitement, "we're detecting a structure within the nebula. It appears to be artificial." Chen leaned forward, her heart racing. On screen, the main view screen flickered to life, revealing a massive crystalline structure floating amidst the cosmic gases. Its surface shimmered with ever-changing patterns of light, as if the entire megastructure was alive. "It's beautiful," breathed Lieutenant Commander Aria, the young harmonian whose musical talents had proven invaluable time and time again. Before Chen could respond, the ship's communication system crackled to life. A voice neither human nor belonging to any known alien species filled the bridge. It spoke in pure tones, a language of music that transcended words. Aria's eyes widened. "Admiral, I can understand them. They're inviting us inside." Chen hesitated for a moment, weighing the risks, but her curiosity and the mission of peaceful exploration won out. "Take us in, Helm." Slowly. As the symphony glided towards the crystal structure, energy tendrils reached out, gently guiding the ship into a vast docking bay. The crew disembarked, stepping onto a surface that hummed beneath their feet. They were greeted by beings of pure energy, their forms shifting and pulsing in time with the music that seemed to emanate from the very walls. Through Aria's translation, Chen learned that these entities called themselves the Resonance. They were the guardians of what they termed the cosmic harmony, the fundamental frequency that underpinned the very fabric of the universe. "For eons, we have watched and listened," the resonant leader explained, its voice a symphony of otherworldly tones. "We heard your great song, the one that brought peace to the discordance. It was then that we knew the time had come to reveal ourselves. The resonance, it turned out, were as old as the universe itself. They had witnessed the birth and death of countless civilizations, always watching, never interfering. But the recent events, humanity's rise, the alliance with the Harmonians, and the redemption of the Discordants, had given them hope for the future of the cosmos. You have shown a unique ability to bridge divides, to find harmony where others hear only discord, the resonant leader continued. We believe you are ready for the next step in cosmic evolution. With that, the crystalline walls around them came to life, displaying visions of wonders beyond imagination. New forms of energy, methods of instantaneous transportation across vast distances, and technologies that could reshape entire solar systems at will. This knowledge is our gift to you, the resonant declared. Use it wisely to bring the song of harmony to every corner of the universe. As Chen and her crew marveled at the revelations, a sudden realization struck her. Wait, she said, turning to the resonant leader. You said you've been watching for eons. Does that mean, were you responsible for the Harmonians finding Earth? For all of this? The resonance form shimmered, a gesture Chen interpreted as the equivalent of a smile. We merely ensured that the right notes were in place. The symphony you created, that was all you. In the days that followed, the symphony's crew worked tirelessly alongside the resonance, absorbing knowledge that would revolutionize life across the galaxy. But with great power came great responsibility, and Chen knew the challenges ahead would be immense. As they prepared to depart, carrying their precious cargo of cosmic wisdom, Chen addressed her crew. What we discovered here will change everything, she said, her voice solemn. It's up to us to ensure that this knowledge is used for the benefit of all, not just a privileged few. The true test of harmony is not in a single perfect chord, but in how we handle the complexities and dissonances that arise along the way. With a final farewell to the resonance, the Starship Symphony set course for Earth. As they emerged from the nebula, Chen couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the vastness of the universe and the journey that had brought them to this point. From a small blue planet, once thought to be alone in the cosmos, humanity had risen to become a key player in a galactic alliance. They had faced war, prejudice, and misunderstanding, and emerged stronger for it. Now, armed with the wisdom of the resonance, they stood on the brink of a new era of exploration and discovery. As the symphony walked towards home, Chen heard Arya softly humming a tune, the same lullaby that had touched the hearts of the Discordants and brought an end to the war. It was a reminder of the power of music, of harmony, and of the indomitable human spirit that had carried them across the stars. The cosmic opera continued, its melody now enriched by the ancient wisdom of the resonance. And humanity, once a solo voice in the vast cosmic darkness, now played a crucial role in the grandest symphony the universe had ever known. As they approached the familiar blue marble of Earth, Chen realized that their journey was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. With the knowledge of the resonance, the united strength of the Galactic Alliance, and the unique human capacity for adaptation and creativity, the future stretched out before them, infinite in its possibilities. The stars themselves seemed to twinkle in anticipation of the movements yet to come in this endless cosmic song. And at the heart of it all was the simple truth that had guided them from the very beginning. In the vast, often chaotic symphony of the universe, harmony could always be found for those willing to listen.